Now today I'm going to make a nice simple dessert, absolutely scrummy. What I'm going to be making is a pear and blackberry crumble, so give it a go. So for making up this crumble, I'm just going to go through the ingredients I'm going to use. Now I've got myself 4 largish pears. Make sure they're fairly ripe. Now in terms of weight, mine weigh roughly in total about 1 kilogram. I've got 200 grams of plain flour, 100 grams of pistachio nuts, which I've shelled mine, and what I'm going to do is just roughly chop and make them a little bit smaller. I've got 100 grams of granulated sugar, 100 grams of unsalted butter, 100 grams of demerara sugar, and finally here we've got 250 grams of blackberries. Now apart from a little pinch of salt, that's all we're going to need. Now what I'm going to do is clear the decks, get myself a bowl, and we're just going to start mixing up the flour with the butter. So we're going to start off making a crumble bit that's going to go on top of this pear crumble. Now I'm just going to put in the butter and the flour and a pinch of salt. Now what we're going to do, you can just use one hand or both hands and just rub together the butter and the flour, and it will come together and eventually it will look like breadcrumbs. So just keep doing that until you get all mixed up and when you've got like a crummy sort of mixture. So I'll carry on doing that. So that's it. I've just been gently, blending that together, and it's kind of looking a little bit like breadcrumbs would. Now what we can do next of all is to put in the sugar, demerara sugar, and with the pistachio nuts, you can see I've kind of just roughly chopped those. Going to give it a lovely flavour, and then what we can do is just with a spoon just give that a quick mix up like that. And that crumble mixture is ready to go. So we're going to leave that now, go over to the hob, and we're going to start cooking up the pears and the blackberries. So I've got my pears, and what I've done is I've peeled them and taken any of the core out and just chopped them up. So just going to put those in my frying pan. You could use any pan as long as it's big enough. Now I'm also going to add just a tiny little bit of water, which I think will help to get it going. And then we've just got the sugar, the white granulated sugar. So switch that on, probably start off about a medium heat, and what you want to do is cook these until it just starts to release the juices, and then we can add the blackberries in there. Now all in all, I've actually been cooking mine coming up for 15 minutes really. Also I added just a little bit more water because I find that helps to soften down the fruit, a little bit of liquid in there. So add a little bit more water if you need to, cook a little bit longer if you need to as well. So I've been cooking for nearly 15 minutes, and what I'm going to do is put these blackberries in. And again, I did turn the heat up just slightly, so I wanted to make sure that the fruit's getting nice and soft. So just leave that a couple of minutes, we give it a quick stir, and then we can switch it off and leave that aside. That's it. Left that a couple of minutes, just give that a gentle stir over. You can see the juice out of the blackberries starting to come out now, and that's going to go with that pear, and they are just so good together. So really I can switch it off now, just let that cool down slightly. So I've come over to the table and we've got that pear and blackberries cooled down slightly. Now for presenting this and cooking it up, you can either use like separate little ramekins, or you can use like an oven proof dish. It's up to you how you want to present your crumble. Now I'm going to start off, I'm just going to pour my mixture in here. I'm going to use the big one. But it could be nice, in those small ramekins sometimes. Serve them up as individual dishes. So let's try and get that juice out of there as well. It's all good stuff. Like that. And just spread that around slightly, like that. Just give it a gentle push down. Lovely. And then obviously we've got that sort of crumbly mix, and it's got that pistachio nut. just to give it that really nice extra flavour. Let's just spread that around. There you go, just about fitted nicely in the pot I'm using. So try and gauge the size of your one to make sure it's all going to fit. And there you go. That is ready to go in the oven. Now what you could have done is put your oven on a little bit earlier so you can just pop it straight in the oven. Now I'm just going to switch mine on, get it preheated. So I've got my oven preheated, so I'm going to place the crumble in the oven like that. Now I've got my oven set to 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit, gas mark 4. Cook time, I'd say roughly about 30 to 40 minutes. So set your timer, have a look at 30. If it's not quite done, cook it for a little bit longer. Now I've been cooking my crumble for just about 40 minutes. Oh, look at that. Bubbling around the edges and nice and golden on top. That is looking delish. Now I'm just going to gently, be careful because it is hot, pull that out, place it on the table, and then we're going to try some. So I've got my crumble there, just taken out of the oven, and I'm going to serve some up. So let's get stuck in. I'll do it over here, I think. Let's just get a nice piece of that. Go down deep. Oh yeah. We've got some nice juicy bits there. I'm going to just get a bit of that. Lovely. Now let's move that aside, and then we're going to try some of that crumble. Now I've got mine served up. Obviously a really nice thing to go with this would be some ice cream, but I'm just going to try it as it is. Let's get a little bit of the fruity bit and get some of that crumble. Now remember, it's only just come out of the oven, so it's probably going to be pretty hot, but let me just try that. That is absolutely heavenly. That is so nice. And with that pistachio nuts, you get the crunch of it, and it's really lovely, not too sweet. It's just absolute beautiful, absolutely delicious. Oh, my mouth's sitting there watering. Just waiting for the next bit to come in, but that is so nice. Have it with a nice bit of cold ice cream, you really can't go wrong. Just gonna have one more bit. Oh. You've got to go and make this. If you like desserts and you want something really simple to make, do go and make it. And if you like your crumbles, I've also done an apple crumble and I've got a rhubarb crumble, but today I thought I'd do pear with blackberries because they just go so well together. Thanks for watching my videos. I'll see you on the next one. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe because I really do appreciate that. And I'll see you again soon. The original Naked Chef.